Yeah, dear ones. Yeah. I can get a lot of messages here on WhatsApp. Now it's live actually. Yes. Many people said YouTube is better. They prefer YouTube videos because the family sees, they can put it on the TV and things like that. Okay, that's why I thought about it. Otherwise, I'm not even comfortable with Facebook. It's like I'm so used to Zoom now and with, those 60, 70 very consistent people. Anyways, I think let me do it. And if I find comfortable, I'll continue even tomorrow. Otherwise, I'll drop this idea of life. Somehow, I'm not very used to these things because I certainly am sure I do not want to convince people. I want to work closely with people who are already convinced. And for that convincement, they have to look into, they have to work upon. Otherwise, it's difficult. The reason I came online is many of the buddies said we can do this like before. But I guess you might have understood that I'm not like before anymore. A lot of things have just changed for good, and I'm loving it. I'm loving every part of my journey. I share it with people who love to understand this, who respect spirituality, who respect the journey to the self, who have reverence on the path. Because we need a certain kind of reverence on this path. It's a very sacred path. The path is not outside, but it is a journey within. And to come within, to go within, there are certain things that has to be very much taken care of. Without which, it's difficult. I on and often get emails, messages on Messenger, Instagram, where people are shrieking for help, not seeking, shrieking. It's like they're shouting for help. Something in them boils. Some clarity is not there. Probably unable to even speak properly about it. But dear ones, please understand, just by saying I need help or help me, I'm in anxiety, I'm in depression, things are not going right, I don't know where I'm heading, I'm confused, I'm scared. Those kind of statements will simply not help. It's your journey. You have to get on the path. You have to get working. But the only problem is when I sit with people to work, they have so much of old beliefs. They are unable to give it up. There's a big fight with themselves. It's a deep inner conflict. And I feel sometimes helpless. I do understand what's going on. I do understand. Because the path is crazy. It's not so easy. I've been walking this path for 25, almost 25 years. And I know it's not easy. I've been through a lot of stuff. It's not like a complaint because I respect whatever I've been through. That taught me how to turn within. And I'm telling you, I've told this many times, it's only in the last 3 years I'm breathing free. Those who watch it or those who are seeing it can understand it, relate to it. Now, there are some people who are curious to know how and why all of a sudden. And to them, I share. I share about a certain kind of belief and mindset that I held that prevented my own healing, that prevented my own purging, that prevented my own growth in spirituality. Once I was very challenged. I can say life is the greatest teacher. Life is the greatest guru. Nothing teaches like life. And I'm sure many of us are in that zone where we understand how stringent this life is. And I say you must suffer enough in order to wake up. You must suffer. Devans, I'm not joking. Suffering is grace. I know it. I've been there. Life has been a roller coaster. Was. Not anymore. I can vouch for it. Now that is the reason I get this relief, because when I started this live and things like that, I was not knowing why am I doing it also. I believe it was during the COVID period. Yeah, somebody is saying here. I have always watched all your YouTube videos since COVID time. You helped me a lot in my spiritual journey. Yes. Even I helped myself a lot in the spiritual journey. Today, tomorrow, and day after, I was just trying to not talk about my journey and things like that, but it's coming. You know, what I wanted to focus on in these 3 days was to bring some clarity that things are in our hands. Everything is in your hand. You don't trust yourself enough. I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't want to motivate you by telling that. I talk practicality. When I say you can do that, it's in your hands. You can become free. I have ways to it also. Tried and tested. Tried and tested on myself and then with the people that I shared. I watched my own life. I watched their life and I'm still watching their life. There is a certain way if you live, there is a certain perspective. If you take that perspective, things have to change. But it requires intensity. It requires love for the path, love for the self. That is needed. That, I believe, most of the time comes through suffering. Yeah, I'm reading your messages on YouTube also. Suffering from depression, anxiety. First, let us understand why are we depressed and anxious. Anxiety means anxious. Anxious means overcrowded mind, too many thoughts. Why too many thoughts? This is how we must investigate. It's not outside Devans. I'm telling you again and again. It's not nobody can give you that. Nobody can just come and give you some kind of solution. Even to tell you grace is not outside. These are my investigations. And I have validity for what I say. I can even give you references from many saints and scriptures and things like that. Now these are my weapons. I have scriptures. I have the Upanishads. I have Shiva Sutras. I have the teachings, sacred and secret teachings of Shiva, which is not yet out. It's all coming from Arunachala. I have these sacred and secret teachings of many mystics like Malaleshwari or say Jesus Christ. Why do we call it secret? Why are these secret? Because we are not ready. We are not ready. If those teachings are revealed as it is, we might go into more depression. I mean it. I could see when I was trying to reveal the depths and secrets of life, which is not available to general public. Now, I don't say I have hidden it somewhere or I have done some great tapas sitting under a tree or on the riverbed and then won the love and grace of God and He came and gave it to me. The secrets are available to everybody because the God that we call is one and all for everybody. I do not know even how to put this because I'm very careful nowadays when I'm talking anything live with our family, with our own people. It's easy to just open up, and that's the reason we have the group because these so-called secrets, when you talk them, how ready are we to digest them? Most of it hits our ears. They are like slaps. They are like torture. They are like death. I mean it. There are teachings that can feel like death. So there is certain eligibility that one needs, and that's the reason why most of the masters don't open up that, including my master. There are very deep details which we are not ready. So there, that's where these steps come, like level one, level two, level three, where we talk about Anvopaya, where it's all about external rituals and karamkanda and worship and things like that. It's all body related things. Then as you evolve, the next level is mind level, awareness level. All the physicalities go. That's next level of evolution. You don't need to be gross. You become subtle. So when you become more subtle, you use awareness, and that's where intellect comes into picture. You can see the sequence from your koshas, from your chakras, how everything is from gross to subtle. From Annamaya kosha, physical body, it goes till Anandamaya kosha, and further Ati Sukshma. So we have this physical body, we have this prana body, etheric body, then we have the mental body, mind body, and then we have the intellect body, intellectual body, emotional body, and then we have the bliss body. These all go becoming subtler, and that's the journey about from gross to subtle. So when we say physical level work, that is Anuvopaya, Annamaya Kosha. Everything is done very much physically. We need something in our hand, maybe the bell, maybe the mala, or maybe a plate to worship, maybe the garlands. This is all physical. Everything is on the body. Or maybe we need to put around our neck, or we need to symbolize something. These are all bodily stuff these are. So whenever the attention is bodily, please understand this, simplified. Whenever whatever practices which requires your body to decorate your body or to you know use your body, havan for example, homam for example, abhishekam for example, these are all physicalities needed. So that is gross because it involves the body, annamaya kosha, or that's the stage of anvopaya, shiva sutra level 1. Anything that is gross even on the speech level, that's known as vaikhari. Very gross, what you're hearing is gross, but this can become very subtle, very subtle. The sound itself becomes, when you turn the sound into silence, it becomes thought. Thought is very subtle, nobody can hear it. only you can know it. But if you make the thoughts even subtle, you go to the source of how the thoughts happen, then it's feelings, emotions, vibrations. So now it is converted into vibration. So that's what is called as Vaikhari Madhyama Pashyanti. Now that is our evolution. Are we in Vaikhari? Are we in Madhyama? Or are we reached to Pashyanti? Pashyanti means feelings, vibrations. Can I tap into vibrations? Can I convey without speech? Can I convey without thought and mind? Can I radiate? That's your koshas. Annamaya kosha, pranamaya kosha, manomaya kosha. It comes to the mind. Second level comes to the mind. It uses the mind. It's all mental activity. Maybe even mantra japa in your mind. No more in your hands. You don't need physicalities. So that's an evolution that's happening. You don't need speech. You can do it by thoughts. Whatever japa you are doing loudly day and night, like Lalita Sahasranama or Vishnu Sahasranama, that can be done in the mind. All the mantra japa that you shout and yell loudly can be done in the mind. I'm not telling about forcing it. I'm telling as the seeker evolves, it becomes very subtle. So when it becomes subtle, your practices change. Your physical practices change. You drop. It drops by itself. You don't drop it. That's why Kabir sings, Bala hua mori mala tuti, मैं राम जपन से छूटी, मोरे सर से टली बला. Good that my mala dropped, my rosary dropped. Dropped, he says. He doesn't say, I dropped. Good that I dropped. He says, good that it broke or fell by itself. भला हुआ मोरी गगरी फूटी, मैं पनिया बरन से छूटी. Good that my pot broke. Now every day I don't have to run with this formality. See, it's a formality. Ritual is a formality. Rituals stop there. Physicality stops there. What and why? Because to enter to the self, to get introduced to God, you need to be still. That is why in Bible it is said, be still and know that you are God. In Vedic Vedanta, you can see Nischala Tattva. You can see Bhagavan Nityananda also talking about the same. Become Nischala. Until you become still, you cannot enter the inner kingdom. You cannot come close with God. You cannot have God realization. And how are we going to still if the body is running around? You cannot become meditative. To become meditative, first the body has to shut down and pause. But if it is running around doing this and that, can it pause? It cannot. So that's the evolution. When a seeker gets purified by doing all those things, slowly he or she settles down. And then everything is mental. That's where shifting into awareness begins. We don't have Anvopaya practices. We don't do anything external. So the people who get attracted to shifting into awareness are people who have evolved to that level. Awareness level. They begin with the mind and awareness. They have no more affinity to these things. And that's how they come naturally drawn here. It's not like anybody is marketing here. You don't see any publicity stunts here. Hardly I ask anybody, even hardly what I've never asked anybody to put these links on their pages or put it on WhatsApp or put it on their wallpaper and things like that. It's not needed. I strongly believe whose vibes are that way, they will simply come and get attracted to it because there is a seeking. Seeking is there. I want to know how can I get relief? Where is my solution? What do I need to do? Here, people who come are people who say, what do I need to do? Other paths are where they are depending on somebody else to do. I've seen this all my life. People wait for the guru to do something, some magic. Why will he do? Guru is only there to train you, to teach you, to guide you. That's all. He cannot go anything more than that. Even people are greedy for grace. They say the grace of Guru can bring me out of my misery. Not really. If I do not change, and if I just say being in the vicinity of a Guru or a Mahatma or visiting them, taking their darshan or blessing is going to solve my problems, not absolutely true. It doesn't work that way. You have to go with the intensity of, I want to change. So if I have to change, what do I do? Wherever you go, whichever Mahatma you go, if you have this kind of an approach, you'll attract grace. Otherwise, it's just a feeling that I will get something from there. It's greed, basically. That doesn't work. So most of the people who approach even a guru are seeking some kind of a remedy to be done by the guru. And they get disappointed when he is not able to give that sudden quick remedy for your problems. That is why you can see many people are grunted, disgruntled. They are trying to seek a way out, but it's not happening. That's why we run from temple to temple, from astrologer to astrologer, from this technique to that technique. We have hundreds of gurus on the YouTube. Subscribe to every single channel. We are just wanting somebody to look at us, to bestow that grace. I'm telling you, it will not happen that way. Life is very simple. Solutions here also are very simple. The approach, the first step is the approach. Now that kind of an approach is there because of certain strong belief and conditioned mind. And you can see everywhere they are conditioning in this manner only. That without me you cannot do, without that one you cannot do, without this one you cannot do, without this path you cannot do. Everywhere we are programmed in such a way. And it's enough. If you have fear, little fear also, it's enough to catch on to that. Because we do not have the capacity to investigate. When a person is in that state, what will he or she do? Just depend. And I would like to break that. When you depend, you cling. When you cling, you are desperate. You don't think. You have locked your head. Your intellect is gone for a toss. You can't think for yourself. And then you are bound by whatever you have been conditioned. You don't question. You don't have the strength. Probably it's not there in my genes that I question something which doesn't have clarity. I become so mum that I take it. I have to take it. Why? Scared. Something will happen. This fear is enough to keep us grounded. That comes from that one small approach thinking that, I cannot do it. I cannot do it on my own. This belief that, karma is too much. Somebody has told you, you have a lot of karma. I'm done with this kind of jokes. Anywhere you go in this world, you will be told you have a lot of karma. And somehow, if you get little relief by going to 100 places, those places will start claiming it is because of me or us that you have got that relief. And in case you don't get relief after doing that, then it will be told that your karma is heavy. I'm done with these kind of jokes. Exploitation of the mind happens only when you are a believer. You believe these things. You have not investigated. You have not even taken a step to it. And when people talk about it, you would like to kill those people, threaten those people, make it difficult for those people because that person is making things difficult for you, making things difficult for your comfort zones. Not ready to leave that. But please understand that's coming from intense fear. The fear of being alone, the fear of being unwanted, the fear of uncertainty, uncertain future. These three are enough to keep you hooked on to people, places, things forever and ever. I'm not saying you give it up all of a sudden. You can't. It's not advisable also that you give it up that way. You can't. So what do you do? First, at least pay attention to somebody who's telling you at least that there's a way and you have to change that approach. At least start thinking. At least start in the experimentative mode. Experimentative mode. Oh, you don't trust this guy or this girl, whoever. But you can investigate what they're saying. Fanatism doesn't take us anywhere. Any kind of fanatism, even being fanatical to a certain religion, will not take you to a certain text, so to a certain philosophy, theory. It's not going to take you away. You have to learn to challenge yourself. Don't challenge people, challenge yourself, your own beliefs. For once and for all, stand up and say, I'm going to be done with this forever, even if it takes my life. Yes, go to the extreme because if you say, no, I'll experiment on it until a little prick happens, and if that prick is pricking me, I say, ouch, I give up. I say, come whatever, I will investigate. I will not rest till I get solution. I will not rest till I get peace, till I get the truth. I did this, dear ones. From there, I'm telling. I did this, and it works. That's what I'm sharing with people. People usually think I'm trying to instigate people. I have better things to do, dear ones. Better things to do in life than to sit instigating. There are better, diviner, and larger things to do. I believe in doing that. So when COVID happened, even I didn't know what's happening. I'm telling you very strongly, I don't know if you sense it. I just followed my heart. At that moment, all that I felt was I must share what I know because it has given me so much of relief when I realize this. So if I share it with others, it can help others. That's the only thing that I know. Why I was doing the life. I had no agenda. I had nothing about future. In those days, even I was scared about future to a certain extent because it was also uncertain. Even I don't know what I'm doing. How can I tell people what they are doing when I don't know what I'm doing? But I'm telling you, that was my investigating time. Certainly given by the Lord. Arunachala's grace. Because until you investigate, you cannot stand on your own. I don't think I would have had the guts to do that alone. But life's circumstances made it that way. Intense suffering, intense confusion, intense inner conflicts, intense uncertainty and fear. So nobody will embrace these things directly. In my life, I could see simply everything just went haywire without me doing anything. Me, everybody, everything is helpless. Just helpless. It's just happening. Like COVID. What could we do about it? Nobody is prepared. It just came. It just happened. And things just happened to me. Exactly during COVID period. Like everybody. No option. What is the option that I have? Right now, I have something that I can do. And that gave me immense happiness. And I just followed my heart. And I say this again and again to many people. Find out that one inner fire within you. That is your soul agenda, it will link to your soul agenda. If you don't find that, you will be simply doing everything and anything. And there will be no peace. Find out. Most of you know what it is, but you're scared to apply it. Because again, same beliefs, uncertainties. I'm not sure, I'm not confident about myself, self worth issues. All those things are there. But I'm telling you, if you have won that fire, whatever that fire is, authentically put it into action. Find your biggest excitement of life and just begin living it. It is a God within that is doing that. You don't listen to your inner self because you are busy listening to the outer world. What the world has to say about your life. How does the world know about your life? Who can tell you about your life? Everybody is busy telling people how they must live. Do we even question whether people want to live that way? Or are they hearing out of obligations? Because there might be scare, fear in them. They don't know what to do. And that's the most vulnerable point in life where you must be careful. Because you simply take it. So from this point, it's a big responsibility. I take that as a big responsibility because when somebody is vulnerable, that is the time they can change for good. Miracles can happen. But again, the question is, are they ready? Because without them being ready, we have no right to intrude. But if somebody comes to us and say, this is what it is, can you help? Help will pour out. That is the first step. Everybody asks for help. Everybody comes seeking. But the moment the answer is given, yes, there is help there. But there are certain things you must do. People pull. Oh, I thought help means you are going to do. Help means you are going to do. We can point out all those things which you are doing, which will not lead you to what you are looking for. It's a mismatch. You can't see it. That is the time, when I began personal consultation, when people began talking. That is the time I got a deeper experience of what happens and to see things and to present to them. There were times where like 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours I've spent with people with personal consultation. Sometimes not even arriving to the conclusion by the end of 3 hours of that consultation, despite giving them the solution straight on face. Why? Dodging. People pay, they're ready to pay any amount. Some people even book for 3 hours, 5 hours consultation because they know. You might say they know that the solution is very difficult. That is why they are taking in advance 5 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours. Because half an hour, 1 hour is enough. But they say no, we'll book you for 3 hours or 5 hours. Not because they feel that the solution is difficult and it will take a long time, or they have got huge stories to tell, subconsciously they know that they are very hard to convince. It will take 5 hours to convince them. It's like I'm paying you and saying, take bus, but you're going to have a big challenge. You are going to have a tough time because I'm not that easy. So people spend time to beat around the bush. I saw all these things very deeply. From there is where I speak. So then I realized nothing can be done in this world if people do not want to help themselves. Then I let go of all these things. But there were few people who were desperate and said, we can give that, intensity of what it is. We trust you, what you're saying. I said, trust me, not because you love me or respect me or you have reverence for me or things like that. Trust me after you investigate what I tell you. Don't just blindly trust me. Investigate everything that I tell you, and I'll give you the tools to investigate. I'll give you the proofs and evidence and support systems for you so that you can boost that. You do it, and then you tell. So here was a completely different approach that I said, I am not going to do any more consultations because consultation means comfort zones. I do not want to work on it. I want to pay somebody and get the work done from them. It's simply saying I'm not aware. So I buy somebody's awareness and say, you are aware more. You tell me what you see in me. I said that's very limiting. And that's not going to help. When I saw people, for every problem they run to, you tell me. I said, no way. I said, why not? We sit and work on our intellect, purify it so much, work on these systems ourselves, and be our own guide. Why do we need a guide from outside? The whole system is because I don't trust myself, I run outside. And spirituality, we are not able to stabilize because the spiritual journey is inside. But can't go inside because I have deep clingings to all my outside, all my investments, all my securities that I've made everywhere. I've invested everywhere in paths, in masters, gurus, in teachers, in philosophers, in YouTube videos, in family, in friends. Strong investments. What you call as attachments. The deepest cause of all sorrow is attachment. लिख लो अभी. Write it in blood. All sorrows root from attachment. Attachment to people, place, things. Now, when we talk about this, nobody wants to give up that. I'm not asking give it up. I'm telling investigate, find out, work on it, and let these things which you are unknowingly, subconsciously clinging, let them drop like the ripe fruits. You don't have to run away from anything. You don't have to give up possessions. You don't have to give up people and relationships. Let them be around. Let all your possessions be. Let the home be. Let the family be. But from inside, those roots, those connections keep burning down. And you see suddenly, after a certain amount of that practice, you don't have affinity to these things. And the moment you lose affinity to these things, sorrows go. Because otherwise, all these things control you. You are under their control. True spirituality begins here, not in meditating and meditating and meditating and meditating. What big deal is that meditation? At the most, it will grant you samadhi. What after that? What after that? Patanjali Yoga Sutras. It goes till dhyana samadhi. Begins with yam, niyam, and all those things. Dharana, pratyahara. Slowly you go through all those practice and finally you get into dhyana, seventh point, and then you get into samadhi, eighth point. What after samadhi? How long are we going to sit in samadhi? Have you questioned this? I meditate every day in deep meditation. I've been doing that for the past 10 years, but I don't see anything much happening. No big deal happening. What can happen? Nothing from outside is going to happen. I'm meditating. Have I achieved good health and well being? I'm meditating for a long time and even preaching the teachings of my teachers. I know all the teachings by heart. I adore and worship all the external stuff that I'm connected to. At the right time, very disciplined way, I offer my worship and my loyalty to all these things outside, to all the paths, to all the books, to all the religions, to all the philosophies, to all the practices. My question is, has my life changed? 10 years, 20 years? What's going wrong? Your meditation is helping you, or is it not? Investigation. Somebody needs to investigate that. What's happening? If you sit with your eyes closed, whatever is happening, I don't know, let it happen. And you are told also, don't question. Don't question. No questioning means sincerity. Loyalty means no questioning. And I say loyalty means questioning, investigation, not on the other person, on the self, on oneself. All the teachings must be gathered and investigated on where have I reached with this? To what level are these teachings in me? Apart from the mind and tongue, where else has this got in me? If it gets into my being, it will transform me. All the teachings. And I challenge. I've told this many times. However loyal you are still not adhering to all the teachings. We are still selective learners. We select and take from. First of all, we select teachers. We select our guides. We select our gurus. We go only there where the comfort is polished, where the ego is not threatened, where the belief system and comfort zones are not threatened. People keep running. From me, they flee. That is why we have very less people on this platform. And I am happy. I like to keep that filters on by those kind of posts and small videos in between so that only the right people stay there. Rest can flee. So when you flee, what happens? You remain where you are. You flee from one teacher to the other in the hope that you will find one teacher who will simply flatter you. And when you don't get anyone, you sit and say, I am my best teacher. Most dangerous zone, that is. Because there are people like J.K. Jiddu Krishnamurti, who say that gurus are not needed. Nothing is needed. you can be on your own. But that's very dangerous zone. Until your intellect has developed to such an extent, you cannot and you should not be on your own. That's not the goal, not to be. It is to be independent. But for that, there are certain ways we must approach. So if that not known, many people prematurely they jump. They presume teachings, very dangerous. Higher teachings must not be given to Anvopaya people. People who are in Karmakanda, people who are still having inclinations, people who have not taken the responsibility of changing their lives, people who are still in greed and fear strongly, must not be given the Shambhopaya, third level. Never be given. But in today's world, social media is the guru. Who can escape that guru? We have all the gurus coming here, including Ramana Maharshi, Nisardat Maharaj. They're available now. You don't have to go to Tirunamalai in that cave or that little ashram in the black and white days to find a great master. You don't have to go in that small room of Nisardat Maharaj in Mumbai. Today, sitting at your home, you can get their teachings. Dangerous zone. Because if we are in the Anvopaya, if our state of consciousness is there, and then we try to take this, there will be a big problem because you are only understanding it superficially. You do not have got into the depth because your frequency has not reached that frequency of that teaching. Why do you think all these great teachings were never given openly to people in the Guru Shishya Parampara? It was never given. Why do you think gurus were very selective? Study your own history, you will come to know. There was never a time where it was in mass. Very selective. Even to say 15, 20 was too much. Look at Ramakrishna's disciples, 12 of them. Look at Jesus' disciples, 12 of them. Limited. Following is mass, but disciples are less. There's a difference between devotees and disciples. Disciples can be those who are studying their self on the internet, who have chosen, I will study from the Anvopaya level only. I am my teacher, I am my guru. Then you must go to a guru. Anybody whom you love, who you have devotion. Many of you might be in paths and connected to your gurus. Be connected. If you are in Anvopaya, be connected. A time will come when it won't be needed anymore. But don't presume that prematurely. It can cause harm. That is why these great teachings, I have seen many people playing around with these teachings. It is easy to say I understand the teaching because that's intellectual stimulation. There are two kinds of illumination. First, a person will undergo intellectual illumination. After certain practices, that's not a small thing to have intellectual illumination. That happens somewhere in the second level of evolution, where you are no more external, you're internal, you're contemplating with your mind and intellect, Viveka. Viveka is getting activated. So when Viveka gets activated, you will begin having illumination. That's the mental or that's the intellectual illumination, where you read through quotes, you're able to understand, where you understand, look at many mistakes, you're able to understand. You can read books and you're able to understand, probably even Shastras and be able to understand. But mind you, that's intellectual enlightenment. Intellectual enlightenment means anything you read, you can understand. Not just one book. Anything given to you, keep it in front, you go through it, and you understand what's the meaning of it, then you are enlightened, intellectually enlightened. Now that has to be stabilized. Only when that's stabilized with practice and thorough experience of what is being intellectualized, then that is called self-realization, soul realization. Many stop at the first level thinking. That's the danger. When if you are in the Anvopaya or Shaktopaya and you start investigating with the higher teachings. That's one reason I chose this group. Because now I do know very clearly who's where. And then we have these retreats, level 1 and 2. Not more than 3. It cannot be 3, beyond 3. Third is Shambhopaya. That is a state of being. Nothing to do there. Absolutely nothing to do. But it's not giving up practices. It drops by itself and you stay illumined. Wherever you sit, you're happy, you're cheerful, you're free. Nothing can bind you anymore. That's the third level. Many are going close to that. But they are not going just like that. It took them 2 to 3 years to consistently understand and thoroughly scrape off all their concepts and all the learnings. So much of loaded everybody's. So much of teachings from everywhere, blah, 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 all parroted. That's not going to take you anywhere. All those teachings are not going to challenge you. It will not take you anywhere. Those teachings are to discipline you, to set you in a certain way in the first level. That is to prepare you for the next evolution. That is not a conclusion. Those teachings, once you discipline and once you arrange your life in a certain way, and once you start achieving more freedom and go beyond even the second Shaktopaya level, beyond the mind and intellect, beyond Viveka when you go, that is called the I amness, what Nisargadatta Maharaj is talking about. I amness. In that state, all teachings drop. It's useless. Nothing can be understood from that end. All the ladders drop, all teachers drop, all clingings drop. You cannot cling anymore. You are in space. You're taken the plunge, the final plunge. That's very scary if told to the beginners. That is why those teachings cannot come to beginners. A lot of work is needed. It's easy to like the posts, Facebook posts. Easy to share them. Very difficult to contemplate, reflect on it, and do the Nidhi Dhyasana. Shravana is very easy. You can listen to me. Shravana is again detailed. Sunna, hearing is grass. Anybody can hear. The people who flee after listening to me when they say, "Oh, this is not good," they are not Shravana. Oh, sun rahe. They're just hearing. Those who listen carefully. Shravan means attentive listening in a state of awareness for a higher purpose, not just to satisfy the mind and ego, not just to gather information. That's why I stopped the live. Live only gather information, people. Some totkas will take from here, some will take from there. We keep on gathering, thinking that by knowing a little more knowledge, I'm going to be free. No, it is your bondage. Check it out. We fill up our books writing all the notes from here and there. What use is that? Raddi varka hai. In this path, everything must keep going. It's a triangular path upward. What is your Mahameru, Sri Chakra? From the gross to the subtle, everything goes dropping. You don't carry everything up there. But our Meru is like this, ulta. We begin accumulating and we are full, bloated by the time we go there. You will drop with gravity. That is why many cannot ascend. Too full, fully loaded, not empty. Emptiness comes only with grace. Emptiness certainly comes with grace. With grace only. See, Yogananda, Yogananda Paramahamsa, he had many disciples, and one of the disciples went to Yogananda Paramahamsa and said, Master, I think I have very, very bad karma. I don't think I have any good karma. Because of the sequence of things happening in life, so many things are going on. So he felt, I have bad karma. And Yogananda Paramahamsa said, listen, even to come to this path and to come to this state of what you are, even to come and say that I have this limitation, I have bad karma, even to come to this path of God realization, even to have the seeking of God realization, this itself is a result of very, 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 very good karma. He says, don't be disheartened. The same power that brought you till here will take you further, till the destination. Same power that has brought you till here and made you say this kind. It's breaking the egg. That's why I say suffering is needed. Your life must go to extreme suffering. Otherwise, you will not change. Suffering is grace. Rumi also said this, right? The same power that brought you till here shall take you till there. Ramana says this. You think you are doing all the effects. You are doing sadhana, you are doing meditation, you are doing tapas, you are doing upasana. Oh, I am doing this, I am doing that. Day and night I am doing this. I did so much of puja, I did so much of worship, I did so much of charity, I did so much of good work. I'm meditating, I'm struggling hard in my spirituality. And Ramana says, you think you are doing, but grace is doing that. हमारी औकात ही नहीं है करने की. We cannot do it on our own. If you investigate very deep, not superficial teachings, if you are interested, sit down with us in the deep contemplation sessions that we do in the group. Sit down for retreats, you'll come to know what it is. Retreats are places where people sit for, from morning to evening without shaking. We just did level 2 retreat. Morning our days would begin at 7:30 or 8 o'clock sessions begin. It goes sometime till night 8 or evening, late evening. Just one lunch break, 1.5 hour. Tea break also is inside. Juice break also is inside. While having the juice, we are still going on in the hall. Can we sit? Can we sit? Okay. But can we sit not shaking with a spine erect for a whole day? And in that, spend hours in between in samadhi. Can we get into that tantra? Coming and going, and all that we're listening is and contemplating, reflecting is this deep teachings. It needs a powerful state of consciousness to come there. And it has come by practice, by scrubbing out all that is unnecessary, especially the deep beliefs and concepts, conditioned mind, and all those old things in your head. The inability to heal oneself, purge and remove that which is not for my ultimate good. The lack of efficiency in doing that work. The inability to remove self-worth issues. I hate myself. I do not love myself. I'm not worthy. Even feeling like, I am not worthy to go to holy places or attend a retreat. People say that, no, I am not worthy. Deep self worth issues. Deep guilt means unforgiven past. Something wrong done in the past. Unable to forgive oneself. Or people around criticize so much that I am unable to forgive myself. So there is work needed on that end. So when people come, I am having anxiety or I'm depressed, there is work. Sit down here and do the work. Don't listening to satsang will not. Listening means we are a hearer. We just hear and run. I call listening because we spend hours in satsang almost every single day. 9 o'clock we sit till 11 o'clock it goes. Almost every single day. So it can turn into a spiritual entertainment, stimulation, escapism. So it needs certain amount of self-reflection and the readiness to sit down here. I'm going very slow because I don't want to gather followers here. What I'm telling, there are deep solutions in that, and for that we need patience. People might come and maybe आधा घंटा कुछ बोल नहीं रहा है. Everything I'm saying here. Who will catch it? Those who are ready. So there is a journey. It might be, and it has to be very deeply, properly understood. First, you have to understand yourself, get introduced to yourself. And that's one advantage that we have with limited people, means we are able to give attention to everybody. In retreats, for example, 30 people, okay. Personalized attention we can give. We sit for hours and do those deep work. Not in level 2, level 1. In level 2, most of the things are gone. Because it is gone only, they are able to sit for hours together. Too much of kachada, you can't sit. You try closing your eyes and sitting for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, deep meditation. You'll be thrown out of samadhi. Samadhi chodo, dhyana. Too much of kachada. Too much of baggage. Too much of eye. Here the eye is scrubbed. So people who are scared of eye run. And I'm not interested in making friends and all that. I'm just interested because that's how I'd like to spend the rest of my life also. Meaningful, something meaningful. I began doing this and found purpose in doing those live because it started helping so many people, and they came and they gave. That is the time I came to know, okay, this is helping. And I said, I feel worthwhile living. ये क्या है? खाया पिया आगा मुता. जिंदगी इसी में जा रही है. I said, this is at least worthwhile living. If not anything in life, good. And I'm telling you, it worked. The deeper level of satisfaction when you are able to help others. I wouldn't even say serve others, because then you will go into that teaching of Nishkam Seva. There is no Nishkam Seva that I've seen. It's all Sakam only. That is also another big headache. We take teachings and we sit with the beliefs that, we are doing Nishkam Seva and you're doing something else. And there is nobody to tell you that, because the tellers also are doing just that. It's a big hodgepodge confusion. No one escapes that ring until you sit down and take things in your hand. With a little guidance. I am there only for that little guidance, so that, because there needs to be someone to tell. Because if I say my mind, you never know where it is going wrong or what is going wrong. There are so many sukshma things. In these retreats, you can see sukshma things we will be pointing out, where your attention has not even gone. Yes, that is how your intellect must become, your viveka must become, because that is your inner guru. Apodipabhava means lighting your own lamp. Be a light unto yourself. This is that light, Murugan, Skanda, Subramanya, Shivaputra, Kartikeya. What is that? Shiva, Kartikeya, sun, Shiva sun. Anyway, I don't want to go deeply into that. But these are all very deep tattvas. So once you understand this, you lose even the charm of just going and lighting camphors in the temple. You understand this is your temple in which Shiva is also there, Shakti also is there, Kartikeya also is there, Ganesh also is there. Happy, wonderful family. If you understand this tattva, life changes, perspective changes. Otherwise, you'll put a wall hanging, happy family photo of Shiva, Parvati, Ganesh, and Murugan sitting together and be very happy worshipping it. No, they are deeper. Ganesha represents your mind. Kartikeya represents your intellect, viveka, inner light, awareness. Shiva is the supreme consciousness, the supreme pure awareness. The consciousness which needs awareness, which needs Kartikeya, the sun, without which even Shiva doesn't know he's Shiva. It is simply consciousness, blank consciousness. Because Shiva has the element of Murugan or Kartikeya, Shiva is aware. And Shiva can experience through Vimarsha. And Vimarsha is Shakti, the dance of creation. So everything that Shakti produces, Shiva is able to enjoy. Not even enjoy is the wrong word, experience. Shiva is able to experience, have a Vimarsha through this tattva of Murugan or Kartikeya called awareness. So I am consciousness, I am Shiva. I have awareness, I have the Murugan tattva life. The Guru tattva is activated in me. So I am now aware. I am my own light. I can see everything in light. I can see the play of consciousness in my being, the play of Shakti. Who created this body? Shakti. Through chanchalta, vibration. This is all vibrations. Everything is vibrating. Even this thought is vibrating. Every object is vibration created by Shakti, internal, external. My mind, subtle things also are created by Shakti. Koshas, Panchamahabhutas. Shakti creates it. Shakti means vibration. Vibration creates it. And consciousness experiences this one. Shiva experiences Shakti through Viveka, through awareness. And that is not somebody outside. That consciousness is me. I have awareness, that's I am aware. The Shiva that is aware of this play of Shakti. What is Shakti? Ego. This aham vritti, which gives a separate identity I. Shakti gives a separate identity I. That is where they separate. That is where duality comes in play. So the whole journey is realizing that this is dual and I want to get non-dual. That's it. What you glorify so much as Shiva Shakti and they are getting together and merging and things like that. Actually, there is nothing merging. If you go through Shiva Sutras, you are Shiva, you are Shakti, the Shakti from you in the form of Vimarsha traveled out of you vibrations. You're conscious. Your consciousness is in every vibration. So infinitely, the consciousness is there in every vibration that it creates. So all the vibration is within the realm of consciousness only, in the Chidakash only. So everything is vibrating there. So consciousness is aware of this play. So my whole play began like this, right? My whole story is, why am I sitting here? Why are you sitting here? Where are you? Where are you come from? You also began the play. You means what? I, the ego. Ego wanted to play the game. Shakti wanted to play the game, not different. ये लोग गाना सुनाने को बोल रहे हैं, फरमाइश. That means ये गाना लग रहा है. No, you understand? There's a problem in life. These satsangs are not entertainments. Something very deep. That is the reason I realize it won't be revered. It's simply spilling something somewhere. And sometimes it's going to gutters. That's the reason of selective understanding people. And I know we can produce results there. We are producing. It will be seen sooner or later. The results will be seen. So हवा में नहीं चला रहे बातें. Work is happening. It will happen by the grace of Almighty. So I've been playing around. My ego has been playing around. My Shakti has been playing around. I, the Shakti only, is ego, and I keep on creating and creating and creating. I create my own stuff, and then I want to experience it, and then I get stuck in it, and then I cry. This is a different realization. Here we don't talk, oh, this has happened to me. Poor me. There is no poor me. I'm the culprit. I'm not the victim. I'm the culprit. I'm the reason by which I ended up here. It's my play. I wanted to play this game. Okay. Who asked you to? Did anybody come and give you all these burdens? Today we sit in this name of dharma, 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 dharma. I'm doing my dharma. Talk about spirituality. They'll say, no. We have been told dharma is priority. Family is first. Work is worship. So I run back to my business. I run back to the families, comfortable, and sit there and get involved in more dramas and stories and create more dramas and then keep crying again. And then say, the world is bad. Who asked you to get into the world? Then you say, this is a very karmic, strong karmic pattern in my family and relatives. But you're not doing anything to get out of it. You're very happy in the name of dharma. ये सेवा कर रहा हूँ, वो सेवा कर रहा हूँ. So people who come and talk to me, somebody while in consultation they said, मैं सेवा कर रहा हूँ अपने family का, परिवार का. And I could see hidden agenda there. A hidden lie. कोई किसी की सेवा नहीं कर रहा है, सेवा के आड़ में बहुत कुछ चल रहा है. In the name of that teaching, dharma, they are just escaping. I asked that person a question. Okay, whatever you call as dharma, how did you get into this dharma? Did God come and give it to you? Specially, come my child, this is your dharma for this lifetime. You chose it, your vasanas. Many lives back, you got into contracts with people and they now turned into your family. And you sit now in the name of serving. You're doing nothing to get out of this cycle. I don't say ditch people. I'm saying catch this. Catch and understand this depths and these connections, clutches that you have got into. So whenever here we never talk about, oh, my life is in misery, my life is in depression. What do I do? Which God do I go to? Which bhajan should I sing? Which guru's grace should I take? We never talk all that crap here. We simply point out these deep details. And we simply say, you have done something, you have understood it, realized it, wake up. When you wake up, no victim, you see, my own stuff is going. Now, from here onwards, I change the way I look at life. Because I've learned every bit of lesson. How and what to do? We have enough protocols, powerful ones. It will work. But first, that is needed. I have to work. We don't tell that before, because there also the ego is very cunning. It will selectively see what are those. Okay, this. Okay, let me come back after lunch. You're gone. Such people can never get out of depression, and they need it more. God bless you more with suffering. Suffering is needed. Otherwise, you will never want to shoot out of that crap that you're stuck in. If suffering is not there, you would have mellowed down like a piglet. How the pigs float in dirty gutter water, saying this is samsara, beautiful, wonderful, cool, chill, very comfortable. Only when we get pokes, we want to get out of that filth. So whenever anybody comes to me running, I am fed up with life. I say, you are the right person now. There is one hope, one hope with you. If you have gone to the extreme that you cannot bear it anymore, you are the right candidate for the shift. It's a small, thin line, because either at that time you might shift or drift. You might go back, because the solutions might not suit you. It might make your world seem upside down. That is why depressed people are the right people, because they have nothing left. Most of the time there are no options left. If option man gets, that man will run, flee and escape. An option. I say this, person must get option. I had no option when I came to that breaking zone. No option. The Lord did not give me any option, no choice. And I had to sink and say, okay, here I am. Sitting in Arunachala, I said, take me. It's okay, fine. Because I don't see anything. I don't see any reason to even live. It's not like suicide kind of a thing. It's like you're done with the crap of this world. You've seen everything. In the gross world, in the subtle world, in the spiritual world, same nonsense. I can vouch and say, only when there is no option left, the egg can break. But if you're sitting in the comforts of your house and all these goody teachings and preachings and internet learnings and thousands of opportunities to escape through the window, through the doors, through the gates, through the roof, through even the bathroom holes, somewhere one escape zone is there. कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So you can see we are talking about extremes. It's not a torture. It looks like. It's not. Only when you settle down and when you're shown this is all the projections of your mind, all which you have gathered, my karma, my bad luck, I've screwed up my life, everything has gone wrong. Nothing has gone wrong. If once upon a time I was in that state which I said everything is going wrong in my life, right from teenage to adulthood, everything is going wrong only. Today I realize it was all right, because without that wrong I wouldn't have got the right. I wouldn't have been here on this journey without those wrongs. So those wrongs are no more wrongs for me, they are all rights. I give credit to them, I give respect to them. Can we do that? You might. Sitting here, you might say, wow, not easy. Tomorrow morning you wake up. your mind will come back again and take you into the same zone. So then what? Consistency. That is why we have practices, certain beautiful practices, and that is very simple. We do not do closed door meditations. Absolutely no. I never teach meditation to anybody. I teach meditativeness. Right now I'm speaking, I'm meditating. I'm in meditativeness. I don't believe sitting with the eyes closed, with the door latched. Anybody can do that. Can you do that in noise? We train people to meditate in the noise. It's deep, but there is relief there on the other side. All these external clingings are not going to help you. Only when you realize that, you'll understand that it's within. And this within also has its different angles, what people talk about. That is not that within what we are talking about. Go within. People think meditate. Many people go within, but thoughts are coming and they go out. Again, they go within. I'm not talking about that within. It's a different zone. I cannot explain all these things here. But yes, if you're interested, you can always join us and sit. And without fleeing, if you can sit. People come and flee. And we remove them also. We don't make people sit. Especially attendance is not there if they are not punctual, if they are not practicing. I only take the privilege of saying goodbye. Because this is one area where I don't want to have jokes. And this is one area where we succeed. Where we put our hand, we must succeed. It must be choiceless success. There is no choice other than succeeded. That's the way things are built here. So if you're coming to me or coming to these satsangs to find solutions for the victims, carry on with your paths, whatever you're doing. Maybe one day some miracle will happen. Let it happen, my prayers. But here we are not talking about that. Here we are taking life in your own hands, finding the inner light within you. मशाल जलाओ भीतर से, क्योंकि बाहर के सारे मशाल एक दिन बुझ जाएंगे. All the external torches will one day go. What are you going to do then? So today, if you're capable, independent, while things are going good in life, while you still have a body, work on it. Invest in this. And let's say, even if you don't do it, here we don't even talk about moksha. We talk about Jeevanmukta state. Being free while you are in the body. Who cares about karma? Must be. I don't say karma doesn't exist. It is existing, but it doesn't run your life, actually. It runs the sequences of your life. Big difference. But it doesn't run your life. It runs the sequences of your life. If you are connected to those sequences, then it runs your life. How to get disentangled with the karma or karmic imprints or influences, that is the tapas we do here. And that's liberating. That's called Jeevanmukta. So being free while you're alive. I always say those who live in awareness will live in awareness. If you're aware, alert, awakened, illumined, conscious while living, and if you're free, if you're liberated while living, then you choose your journey even after from here. You're not thrown into some yoni like now. And then once, somewhere in the middle of life or in the later part of life, you awaken and say, who am I? What the hell? Who put me in there? Who the hell put me here? And then say, if I had a choice, I wouldn't have chosen this environment. Why? because no awareness. I was thrown in there. So we say, okay, fine. Now we understand the science of life. Look, here we talk about the science of life, science of the mind, science of how these koshas work, how life works, and how am I involved? How is the Prakriti around me involved? What's happening? From where does this creation come? Where does this go? What are these realms about? Dimension, lokas. Which loka there? You'll realize it's all your projection from within, the inner light as it opens. Tomorrow I'll continue on this because I didn't know what to speak. Today I came and you must have seen half an hour almost. I was like, no words. I didn't get momentum. I didn't. Because what happens is when we have a similar crowd, you see in our satsangs, deep things flow there with great intensity. It depends on the seekers. It depends on our environment of what's happening in that satsang. So when it's very open and scattered, it takes a little time to even get what is in the collective. It's all scattered out there. Sometimes it's meaningless. So nothing works. So probably I've got a theme right now. And next 2 days, I will try to talk a little more deeper on that so that you can get a grip and you can make sense of what's happening in your life. A lot of things happening in your life. You might say, I don't know what's happening in my life. You know it. You not put an attempt. Maybe the next 2 days, you'll get to know what these things are. Okay, maybe my satsang is not as entertaining as it used to be before because before it was just a lot of data. Now, if you sit little with awareness, it will be very conscious. It will help you very consciously. So, for that, we need a little bit of awareness, a little bit of reverence to the tatwa, to your own self, to the divinity, to grace. If you sit just with that acceptance, what you hear also becomes very precious. It cleanses your soul. That's how people experience healing. People experience deep purging, deep transformation, and sometimes even leaps of consciousness. There are leaps of consciousness. You must have not heard this word. I began speaking 2 years back when I noticed this leaps of consciousness happening in Arunachala. It's not that the hill is simply doing it because many people go there, nothing happens. I am telling the way you go, your approach, all matters. You must become sensitive when you go to Arunachala or Ramana and then see what happens. My job is to make people sensitive. We don't give anything. Nobody can give you. Even your guru cannot give you moksha. Guru cannot give anybody self-realization. Please understand this very clear. Understand the fundamentals of these things. Don't just believe. Guru never says this. We assume or people talk about it. Nobody can give you. Only you. Your choice it is. Otherwise, if it was possible that Guru can give self-realization to everybody, then everybody he looks at whom does he not want to give? Every Guru wants everybody to be realized. Who will not give it? Why are they not getting it? When a master heals, my question is, out of 1,000, or let's say 10 people, why one gets healed? Why not 9? So if it is the master doing it, all the 10 should get healed. It is you. How sensitive you are to that healing, to what you get. It's in you. That's what I want to again and again emphasize this. This path is about you. The key is in your hands. I know you have heard this many times before. The key is in your hands. But still you're thinking the one who told you the key is in your hands is going to open the key for you. Think about it clearly. Contemplate on this very clearly, isn't it not? If you really felt the key was in your, why are you there? Gaping at the sky. Something will come and change your life. Why are you not holding the key and walking to open the treasures? You are simply looking and staring at the hand that is pointing to the moon. Same story. You're fascinated and obsessed with the hand that you can't see the moon nor the moonlight. My work is to point you to the moon only. And that's little difficult. That's coming from deep insecurity and fear. You don't want to give up clinging. Maybe that's how when we show people there is a possibility here, they begin trusting themselves. So when they trust themselves, only they can have the courage to at least cling or at least experiment with their life. A lot of times it happens that we are doing what we do not wish to do and we get bound and get into guilt. This is all the mental programming that has happened. When you are doing something by compulsion, you are programmed. You are deeply programmed in the matrix. You are stuck in the matrix. I tell this everywhere. Anywhere you go, you are programmed. Just another 10 minutes, I'll finish. You are deeply programmed. If you can get out of this, you are free forever. If you cannot, up to you. What we make people here is sensitive to every programming in the matrix. First programming, my own mind. How my mind has programmed me. And I simply move in a programmed way. I see that. Why is my mind programmed? Next question. Because this mind has accepted all the other programmings that is coming from outside. Mind is very hypnotic. Hypnosis can be done to your mind by all these programming. Your governments can program you. Your family can program you. Your religion can program you. Your schools and universities can program you. Your society can program you. Your community can program you. Your path can program you. Spirituality can program you. If you can see this, first at least accept it, acknowledge it by investigation. Then the next step, how to get out of the programming. Without accepting this fully, totally, don't think, okay, yeah, governments are programming and this, okay, how to get out. These are all interdependent. This shows the vulnerability of your mind. So if you are susceptible to one programming, you are susceptible to programming everywhere. You must have that intense awareness of not just a blind believer, andhbhakt. You listen to a politician saying something and you just take it. I'm not asking to sit there judging. Have viveka, have discrimination at least. At least know what is sat and asat. Through your viveka. If this viveka is not there, it's useless. You will have to depend on other parties to tell you what is right and wrong. That is why you switch on the news channels. You want to debate, you want to see the debates and find out what others have to say. That is why when you wear a dress, you go and ask 10 people. How do I look? You want to pursue a career or a hobby or a passion or a job, you go and ask 100 people. Viveka is dead. We teach people how to awaken the Viveka. That Viveka takes care of the rest. I am often accused of brainwashing people. Interesting. I heard in some video somebody talking that you go brainwashed. And I tell you, are already brainwashed. What is there to brainwash? Brainwashed people can be brainwashed again and again. What I am doing is showing you how to undo it yourself. I am nobody to remove. I cannot remove. If I can sit here and tell you certain things, remove this belief, throw this away, are you going to throw it away? You will not. But if I tell you, do it in this manner, sharpen your intellect, make that viveka so powerful that you can see through things now, then who is doing it? You are doing it. So when you see things through things only, you will not just believe everything that you see. You become very purposeful. You take that which is needed in your life and simply dump which is not in your life, however great, glorious, or divine that might be. If a great teaching, spiritual teaching is there, I am like that. You give me a list of teachings, I'll reject 50% of that right there. Whoever teaching you give me, I'll reject it and I'll prove it to you why I'm rejecting you. And you will be convinced. Because probably you have not investigated on the credibility of those. Because they don't stand on very strong grounds. And if it is not standing on strong grounds, I don't believe them. If I don't believe them, I will never use them in my life. I've gone against this mentality of people sometimes, coming to try and parrot teachings to me. At those times, I rigorously put it down. Somebody comes and talks to me about unconditional love, and I say, I don't have it. Neither do I want it. I will never thrive for unconditional love. I don't want it. And they're shattered. How can you say such a thing? It is divine to you. Keep it in your coat pocket. Because you don't understand what is unconditional love, first of all. You are living in the pretext of that word. And what you assume is wrong. You believe you are having unconditional love or somebody has unconditional love. I have never seen unconditional love with anybody, from anybody. Really. Because unconditional love is 24/7, it has to flow. It is not on terms. It cannot be selective. If it is selective, then it is conditional automatically because you're selecting it for a certain purpose. You're choosing to be unconditional for a certain purpose. And when the purpose is served, you are again dropping that unconditional love. That means that makes you automatically conditional. I can prove it to you. So I don't want to glorify in that. So I openly tell I am a conditional person. There are many other things that people want to say, and I do it ulta. Because I don't want to come in their programming. They are programmed. They're in the matrix. They don't know what they are speaking also. I know very well what I'm speaking. I know it because I've investigated on that, not just taken it. So that's little difficult. That's little difficult because all these miseries, so-called miseries that we're talking, tensions and stress and this problem, that it comes from this ignorance, avidya, which you're not able to give up. You don't want to let it go. You want to hold everything. Collecting teachings are not going to help you because those teachings also are useless if you do not investigate on that. Most of these teachings are not applicable in your life, my dear. Why are you gathering it and keeping it? It's not applicable to it. It's not applicable in most conditions. Most of the time, these some of the higher teachings like Nisargadatta Maharaj's teachings or Siddhu Krishnamurti teachings are irrelevant in your life because that kind of vibration has not yet come. So we simply are wasting our time in this. So we can lose our entire lifetime and wait for good things to happen. Or other thing is we might simply take up the hope and strength and say, I'm going to destroy this karma. Let me just break this karma. And I will not rest till I put my karma into ashes. Before knowing, you will be seeing that your life is aging. You had one good opportunity to understand. I don't say don't destroy karma. Here also, through Shaktopaya, there is intense purging that we do. Intense self-feeling and all those things happen. That must continue. But apart from that, there is something else. You keep doing that at the same time. Raise your awareness in such a way. We have all the modalities of what will raise you. Saying, I'm aware. Oh, awareness. Yeah. I'm aware that I'm taking the pen and touching. That's all your mindfulness stuff. This awareness, what I'm talking, is not mindfulness. You itself are awareness. Shiva is awareness. Pure awareness. Supreme is awareness. It is realizing, coming to that point. It's a different journey altogether. I'm not talking about just being conscious of certain things. Yeah, you start with that. It begins there. It's a long way to go from there again. That is why people say, oh, this is just mindfulness. Okay. We know that. We are doing that. That should lead you to a state of freedom. That should bring your life so free. That should detach you first. You're so stuck in your me and mine with all those meditational practices, still can't help you. That cannot help you. You have to see something else that is binding you. You have to see the real story that's happening in your life. How those scripts are running in you. You have to see the programming, how you got programmed, terribly programmed. So programmed that even listening to this can shake you from inside. I've seen people fleeing, not fleeing. People have loose motions. They get fever when they listen to profound truths. Body goes for a toss. Body, mind. Mind goes for a toss and then body goes for a toss. It's needed to deprogram. Only when you deprogram can you be on your own. And mind you, the world will not allow you to. Nobody will leave you so early. The whole world will stand against you. And that's why probably it's easier, because the larger crowd doesn't even understand what I'm saying here. So when the crowd is larger and you look around, you say, that's the truth. Remember this. What is large and what is huge may not be the truth. That's why Krishna says, in the whole of population, like we have 8 billion now. So he says, in the whole of population, only a handful get awakened. Awakened means they start questioning, who am I? Where am I going? What is this life about? And from that, just a small percentage, another handful, actually start walking the path. And then Krishna says, from that, only a handful realize God. It's a very tiny percentage. Don't go by the large. You go at the large, like now you see there is spirituality and all those things, fine. Look at non-spirituality. You'll see more than 90% non-spiritual, living a very gross life, Pashutulya Jivan, animalistic instinct. 80 to 90% of the population. So what do you think about that? Your spirituality is very less there. So would you believe that? Would you believe ignorance more? How much of news do you see of peace and love? How much do you see about hatred and war and crimes? There is hardly anything. One news, good news. So what would you believe? That's how this world functions. Very difficult. Unless you are awakening from within. Anyhow, I'll I'll continue this tomorrow. If I follow one guru and come to you, is it right? You must understand what is a guru and what is guru tatwa. Whenever people say guru, they are talking about a body, they are talking about an individuality, they are talking about a personality. When you hook on to the personality, you look at somebody else, you look at me also as a personality. So there are two personalities. Then it's a combat between this personality and that personality. It becomes a competition. That is how you can see everybody is in that competitive mode. Even when I'm saying this, there are many people who stand against this because they are in the competitive mode. He's different. He's talking different. He's doing different. What different is this? Tell me. I'm not doing anything else. Even what my guru has spoken is the same thing. Maybe the way of doing things are different. And I prefer this because this way it shows clarity. It gives more clarity. If we are scared about going from one to other, because I am not a guru, first of all, I don't want to get into that bracket also. Yes, I might be keenly involved in someone like a guru, acting like that, or doing that kind of work. But I don't want to get into that bracket because the moment you find somebody as a guru, you'll cling around his neck or his feet. We have strong programmed behaviors in us, in our genes, that the moment we see somebody who can be benefit to us, which we call as guru, conditional avayo, we are ready to catch the feet or their neck. Both happens. That's how it happens. If this guy is beneficial to me, I catch the feet. If this guy is not beneficial to me, I catch the throat. Guru Tattva is different. Guru Tattva is there is a way in which the supreme consciousness functions and reaches to you what it has to reach you. It can be through a bird, it can be through sunlight, it can be through a mountain, through a wind, through a music, through a book, through a video, through what you hear, through what you smell, through what you touch. You can have Shaktipat. Even when you touch something, you can have Shaktipat. Even when you're looking at the sunset, you can have Shaktipat. Shiva Sutras I'm talking. Shiva says. Because Shiva is working. Shiva means not a Hindu god. Shiva is supreme consciousness. For all religion, even the beasts, even the Pataloka. Same supreme consciousness. So that supreme cosmic intelligence which is there, it can reach you in ways beyond your understanding. It is reaching you right now, even when you're taking a book and reading it, even when you're taking a child and talking to it, there is consciousness always communicating to you, but we are not sensitive. If we become sensitive, we will understand the Guru Tattva. For that, Avadut Gita you learn. It's there into shiftingintoawareness.com/courses. Read Avadut Gita, study it, meditate on it. You'll understand how Guru works, Guru Tattva works through all this. Why Dattatreya Bhagwan had 24 Gurus? He could have stuck with one, right? And boasted about his parampara. He could have boasted, I am coming from Shiva. Direct. So all the people who connect with me are getting a direct contact. This is all human ego behavior. He's telling everything is a Guru. So when he's sitting in the sun and the king comes and finds him there, the king is lost his way after his hunting, and suddenly he sees this Avduta naked, a hot sun, and he says, who must be this person in bliss, even in this hot sun? No clothes, no security, no army, no house, and I have everything and I am depressed. He goes to the Avduta and says, oh Lord, who are you? And who's your Guru? Because the first thing will be, if this person is in this manner state, definitely he has the blessing of his Guru. That is why he is in this state. So who's your Guru? Who are you? Who is your Guru? Dattatreya Bhagwan opens his eyes and says, the self is my Guru. The self from where 24 tattvas came out, and all those 24 tattvas are my Guru. And then he talks about the wind and water and air and the fire and a bee and a spider and a prostitute and a leaf and 24 weird gurus. We must understand Guru Tattva. Then we will break from this programming of individuality and personality which has been programmed into our heads by ignorant people. That's not the Guru Tattva. Every person is a Guru. If you see the Tattva, if you are sensitive, you can see it. Of course, there are some great people, enlightened beings, who have that sharpened in them, like the Gurus. They have it very powerful in them. So you can get more from them, strongly from them. That's the only difference. But that doesn't mean if that is not available, the rest, everything blocks out. And there's only one passage that you have got. No. By the blessing of that enlightened master, he makes you more sensitive. He makes you open to life. And then you begin appreciating and getting and receiving grace from everywhere. That is the work of the Guru. That is how we see all these things. That is why we revere that person. Because of you, I get that sensitivity. But that doesn't mean we put photos all over, build his idols, and put all over his padukas and cling on to it. Paduka represents the Tattva, Guru Tattva, the feet of the Guru. Why the Paduka is given? Can you understand that? Paduka is given because you are fond of falling in love with the face. That is why they show the slippers, the feet, footwear. Now, when you look at the Paduka, whose is it? If Padukas are kept and no title is given there, would you know whose Paduka it is? Who cares? You go and bow down to it, because that Paduka, that Tattva is where your individual gurus are all connected to. You catch that consciousness, Guru consciousness, not the personality. So if you understand this, there is no question of leaving this, getting it there. And we are not talking about that only. Here we break all those things only. There is no one Guru, there is no two Guru, there is no leaving from here, going there, or something like that. Then you become guilt-free. Many are in that guilt because everybody they have told it is in a certain way. That's up. I cannot comment on that. That's up to them. But how much have I seen? How much deeply have I studied the Avadut Gita and the scriptures and these Shiva Tattvas, the Shiva Sutras? From that, I get a clear, crystal clear understanding of what I am saying right now. I'm talking from there. Shiva says about Shaktipat and grace. Everyone is entitled to Shaktipat, even those who do not have a Guru. Those who do not have a Guru, he takes care. It's not that life doesn't function. Everything is handled very, very beautifully. Everything is taken care of very, very beautifully. It is our egos and minds and our projected beliefs and things, all this clutter and clouds that don't allow us to see the truth. I think I've taken enough time. This is our regular satsang time, so I'm going by that. I'm not understanding this is a live. Okay, thank you all of you who have been here and who send these lovely messages. I hope you were awake to even listen to this. I couldn't see all the messages here on the YouTube. Maybe I'll go through them. And okay, if somebody has fired me left and right, that's also okay. I will ignore that and I will go to that which is meaningful. I will take the meaningful ones, and tomorrow I'll continue the satsang at 9 a.m. So I think by the end of Saturday, you should have a good picture of what's happening in life and how to means I'm not going to, because you can't. It's a process. It needs time. So if you want the process, then Sunday we have a webinar. You can join, and I've kept it free. Free in the sense just some very nominal, only serious people. Just क्या क्या बोल रहा है कोई सूत्र, वैसे लोग नहीं चाहिए. Who are there? So you can register that. It's there available on the website shiftingtoawareness.com/events. If you go, the webinar is there. You can sign up for that. And if you like to begin this journey and understand yourself a little better, clear of all these doubts and guilts and all that, and practice very simple practices. The Sunday's webinar I've named as that, simple yet powerful practices, and not closed door meditation, living full day wherever you live here. That is how you get into this what I mentioned about meditativeness, awareness, not meditation. And I see that those who do this are able to, whenever they want, the moment they close their eyes, they'll go deep. That is why many of them are in samadhi most of the time. They've reached that state through practice, through certain practices. Okay, so we are talking about Shravan, listen, and Manan. While you're listening, Manthan is happening. That is where your tapas is going, even in satsang. And then what you listen and what you understood and what you reflected upon, you apply it into life. After this clarity, you apply it. That is Nidhi Dhyasana. These three are very strong in our practices. That is why progress is seen after just a couple of months, also, it can be seen. And I believe to come to Shaktopaya and be ready for Shambhopaya level, 2 to 3 years, depending on any kind of stuff, 2 to 3 years, people, some go even faster. That much is enough. So you can investigate your life instead of wasting your time just simply in the victim mode. You can take these tools, which are all coming from your Shastras only, your own teachers, your own mystical saints, and with experience. I'm talking all this with experience. Which is not in my experience, I will not talk. Which I cannot give you, I will not talk. My guru used to always say, that which you cannot make others experience, do not talk about it. So when I talk about awareness and samadhi, I talk from experience. It can be given in a certain state of, receptivity and understanding. So I talk only about that which experience, including the samadhi and deep awareness and meditativeness, all those things. Thank you so much then. I didn't start with that shloka. I wanted to, but that's okay. We don't have guilts like God will punish us if shloka is not said. But we always like ending it with this beautiful Shanti mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudayachate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May we all be blessed. May we all evolve. May we all be free. May you have a transformative life ahead. Stay blessed. Bye.